a long time in RuneScape here because like we might have like really amplified experience rates, but there's just nothing interesting going on here. You know what I mean?
So RuneScape.
Sure, if that's what you want to be. I'm just saying, like the first level stuff. I mean, definitely, I could see people like trying first level stuff and just being annoyed because nothing's happening. Like I do like the experience rates on. I mean, RuneScape 3 really did fix a lot of those things, but I guess I'm a RuneScape 3 player because a lot of people will say you feel you know the 7 hours you spend going up one level and thieving, it makes you feel good, and I'd rather do safes in RuneScape 3 where you actually can do something more interactive. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, I understand. Like, I've only played RuneScape 3, but I leveled up fairly quickly. I just didn't care enough to keep on playing. Like, I have my
Yeah,
account, I'm just not doing anything with it.
yeah, that's understandable to me. I'm talking about in the sense that I just can I attack her even though people are thieving her? I guess
You're
not.
saying?
I guess not. Um, I was rambling on about yeah, a lot of people don't like RuneScape 3 because it is too easy, but RuneScape 3 focuses more on the like end game content rather than like the path to it. They're different games, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not even that. I just, like, I think it's interesting the crafting part, but I dislike the combat. The combat is one of the most interactive parts of the game.
Yeah, I mean,
I also don't find it that fun.
Tellus is fairly fun. I'm never going to do it again now that I did 100% in Rage. That's right, chat. I accomplished that. It means you can too. But you know,
I know,
hmm?
yeah.
I was gonna say,
I would say
go.
mm,
You go.
I saw you fight Telos for a bit. I did not feel any compulsion to fight him as well. Like,
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, have you ever seen someone fighting Dark Souls and you're just like, yeah, you do a lot of combat rolls, not very interesting, but like if you do it, it's more interesting.
I kind of understand, but I think for me it's more the game style. I don't like for some reason I don't really enjoy fighting. In I understand like it has some similar things to even Dark Souls with the ring swaps and the weapon swaps for more damage and stuff of the sort.
Yeah, but I don't do half that shit. In fact, I think I feel good about fighting Telos because after looking at all the guides and everything, I just picked in pieces that I liked and I fought in my own way. Where people were like, you're supposed to use immortality under 999% to like survive the anima bomb, like just don't care and do this rotation. But I just kind of actually just fought him. Like I figured out how the fonts worked, even though I couldn't find any video on it because they're saying if you're not over 1,000% in rate, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I just did that. I abused a few mechanics with phylactery, and I got them at 100%, and I'm never doing it again because well, because it costs more money to fight them than to actually like fight them, you know. But other than that, like it was fun to do.
Yeah, to be fair, in Dark Souls, I'm not very good in Dark Souls. Like I've finished all games except Demon Souls, but I can play them till the end. The thing for me is many people have guides of how to beat things, David.
Mm-hmm.
But much of how Dark Souls works is get good.
You mean
And
like the mentality of it? You mean right?
oh, there are many bosses and stuff
And
that
stuff.
is at the end game that it's truly like either learn how to dodge him and fight him or die. Like there's no strategy that will save you from just learning the game.
I guess I get what you're saying. That people just say do your thing.
I mean, yeah, like there are strategies and there are better weapons. It's not, but there sometimes like the best choices aren't very interesting. For example, one of the best weapons on the game, just because of the combo it has, it's one of the starting weapons that's just twin blades that just scale to the end of the game if you want them to. then you can buff them, and they're just one of the best weapons in the game, just because they do so many like fast combos. But that's shit to me. I prefer to have the cooler weapons that have like longer combos that don't do as much damage. I mean, in RuneScape, I know that those kinds of things don't really fly because it's not that like it has less of a visual element than Dark Souls in the sense of like movement of stuff. You can put just skins over weapons and such.
Kind of get what you're saying. I haven't gotten too far in a Dark Souls game, considering I don't own any. There
Hmm.
is, I do own Bloodborne. I should do that. You saw the technical difficulties of the stream, though, right?
Yeah, Bloodborne is a whole nother beast, actually.
It's a Dark
L-
Souls like.
I it's different. Like it is, it has the same concepts, but it's different. The speed is different. Um, Basically, Dark Souls like sometimes looks slow for people because even though it's an action like an actual like dungeon game, it's really slow if you start like looking at it. Bloodborne is has a much quicker pace. For example, I own all four games except Demon Souls, David. But I've never like my brother has, but I haven't completed Bloodborne because I like Dark Souls games, but Bloodborne is different. It doesn't have that much variety of weapons, and it's too fast.
Let me just remind the people at home that Joe has a younger brother, meaning Joe sucks at video games. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's the thing is I kept playing it, but when I'm like, okay, let me keep playing Bloodborne. I just want to play Dark Souls while I was playing it. I just didn't like it as much.
I mean, yeah,
It's
I get what
also
you're saying.
yeah. I mean, it's also my own preference towards magic and medieval things.
But did you run every Dark Souls character as like a firecaster?
I mean, I've done at least one caster in each of the Dark Souls.
Okay, that's true. You could have run the game multiple times. That's fair.
I mean, my favorite strategy in Dark Souls is pick up the biggest weapon possible and smash everyone's heads in. My first like I actually finished Dark Souls 1 from the trilogy. I finished Dark Souls 1 last because I had one when I was like 12 and I didn't know how to play the game and I didn't know like that sometimes when you get stuck it's okay to go search on the internet. So me as a prideful kid just didn't look, and so I stopped.
Joe, your mic kind of shot away.
I accidentally disconnected the headset.
Ah, yeah, that's right, guys. Joe has a new headset.
Yeah, I was just fiddling with the wire and accidentally pushed it a little bit. But I was saying I finished Dark Souls 1 last because I had it as a kid and I was a dumb little kid, so I didn't know how to pass the game. I was like 12. So I let it be, and when I was 17, I got like Dark Souls 2 and then Dark Souls 3 and beat the two of them.
Dark
And
Souls
then
came
got
out in
Dark Souls
2009. No, that's Demon Souls. Came out in 2009. When did the first Dark Souls come out?
like 2011. Let me check.
Yeah, 2011. You were 12, you
Yeah,
said?
yeah, I was 12, so it was 1 year after its release.
Okay.
Like I got it because it looked cool. It had a knight on the cover, so I got it. But I didn't understand. Like I beat the first boss, but after that I was kind of lost. I didn't know where to go. Then I like one day, just so many people were talking so many things about Dark Souls games. I haven't even watched playthroughs or anything, but I bought two because it was like at $20 with the new version that had both expansion, like all of the three expansions incorporated in it. So I just bought it, and I did spend a good 100 something hours into the game.
I mean,
Like,
I guess as long as you get your money's worth. I'm thinking of you already owned how many of the Dark Souls games?
okay, I had Dark Souls 1 for the PS3, but then I bought a PS4. So I bought the Dark Souls 2 on the PS4, like a digital version, and I played I played the shit out of that game in the sense that the 130 hours were just one character. Then I had various characters that had 40 hours in them. Like I had two characters which I fully passed the game, which include all three DLCs that are pretty hard actually.
Jesus Christ, Joe! I wasn't really watching old school here, and I'm already at
Mm-hmm.
level 24 fishing.
That's I mean that's increased experience rates for you.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kind of impressed, actually.
Mm-hmm. Um, but basically after I finished Dark Souls 2, like all the bosses and such, I uh bought Dark Souls 3 like when it came out, a little bit after it came out, and then bought the expansions eventually. And it was a great game actually. And Dark Souls 3 is probably one the best of three. It's just that people say Dark Souls 2 is bad, and I understand why they say it's bad, but I disagree. Have you ever seen that opinion, David?
Sorry, that Dark Souls 3 is bad.
Dark Souls 2.
Oh, Dark Souls 2, sorry. Is that the one with. Oh my god, how are people mining? Everyone's competing over the same rock. I'm gonna have to go somewhere else in the world to do this. Um, Dark Souls 2 is the one that has the recycled demon boss then?
They're what? Sorry.
The recycled demon boss.
No, that was the first one.
Oh.
But Dark Souls 2 had a lot of like a recycling of bosses and boss fights that just weren't the greatest. But it's also their longest game. Like I think Dark Souls 3 has like 28 bosses. Dark Souls 1 has 23, and Dark Souls 2 has like 34, 32. I'm not doing exact numbers. I just know Dark Souls 2 is the longest one, but people say like they broke the game by giving an item to you that can heal you over time. That's fairly cheap. Like that the frame rates weren't the best and that the bosses were kind of just hashed. I liked it. Like many people didn't because it wasn't the second game wasn't written or directed by the Miyamoto, the normal director. So people also hated it for that.
Mm.
I just enjoyed it.
Alright, I'm not killing this.
But yeah, as I was saying, finished Dark Souls 3 and then finally played Dark Souls 1 remastered on the Switch. So that was a lot of relearning controls, to be honest.
Mm.
I mean, for someone who plays like Dark Souls on the PlayStation to go to Switch is a pretty big change, especially because of the size of the buttons. But yeah, all three of them, David. My first character that I did the whole game with was just a big bruiser that would just kill anything in its way.
I don't know
There's
what
no
the.
other
I,
there's no other way of putting it.
for some I'm so used to the chest being down there. So you did you? Blah. Sorry, I keep hearing this reverb in my ear. So did you? Hold on. There's a less reverb now.
I don't know.
Hmm. Anyways, uh, that's very nice of you again. Did you? I'm trying to think of a way to word this. For Dark Souls 3, you made a bruiser in one, but you said you did a caster of all of them. I guess my question is really moot since I'm just trying to think of a way to say like I am listening, but there's something I can really contribute to this. I don't know how Dark Souls 3 works, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Pedro says my first Dark Souls was the second one. I had no information about it and didn't like it, but I like Dark Souls 3.
And yeah, Pedro and I have talked about this. He didn't like two. I liked it. Like two wasn't technically my first Dark Souls, but in a certain way it was because it was the first one I actually beat. And that yeah.
You like it because of the memories.
Hmm. I don't know if it's only because of the memories, but it sure has something to do with it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Like I like it. I like Dark Souls 2 itself. It's not just because of the memories. Like I still remember, and I still can acknowledge that some of the bosses were pretty terrible. It doesn't mean that the game as a whole was bad or that my experience was bad. Was it soured by like some like janky um
Oh,
by
okay.
just some janky usage? Maybe. Was
Sorry.
it ruined? Not really.
Is that better, chat? Does Joe sound better now?
Do I sound better?
Pedro is saying you're loud.
Yeah, it's my personality.
Alright.
Um,
Yeah, go on though.
yeah, but that's basically it. I don't particularly dislike any of the Dark Souls games.
But
I have preferences.
you will defend two's honor.
I will defend Two's honor in the sense that people say it's a bad game, and I'm like, no, it's different. It is different. Like I do consider it a different game from one and two. I can see that one and three. I can see that one and three are much more alike than two, and I can see like that it has different directors. But I enjoy the three of them, the three games as a whole. But people complained a lot. That's why I don't say much about such things.
Stand your ground, Joe. Tell them that you love the game and that it's okay to like bad games.
It's okay to like RuneScape, guys.
If not, we wouldn't be here.
Well, time to start talking about Jojo, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're here for, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I signed up for. So in the last stream that was like 6 months ago,
Yeah, because no, people probably saw it last week, right? Yeah. So go on.
probably. We
Hey,
talked from part one.
just to finish off the thing, Pager does want to argue about Dark Souls, I would suppose. Who goes, you can like a bad game, but that doesn't change that it's bad. But Pedro, if you like the bad game, you just accept that the things that are bad about it are part of its charm. It's not that the game's bad; it's just from another time, usually. least that's what I say. Like, I mean, there are games that are made in a way that are more modern, but like are arguably bad and everything, but people still can enjoy them. I guess what I'm saying is, if the game was different, but like you liked it, like it's like you like a bad game, but if it was different, if it had some of those flaws that people complain about differently, would it still be the same game you liked? Is what I'm trying to ramble on about. Joe, like that Dark Souls game. If they changed some of the things people didn't like about it, would it really still be that Dark Souls game to you?
It depends on what they changed. Like the like there are some improvements that could be made, but I don't think that's the point. Like the game entertained me for for a year and something. Think that's good enough. Like if that's not good enough for a game, I don't know what it is. Like just literally put my headphones, start listening to like music or a podcast, and just play the game different ways, or make new builds, or try to collect things, or grind a bit.
Oh,
Play it multiple ways and with multiple characters, with multiple builds, and that I enjoy that. And if that's not a good game, there's no good game out there.
I mean, you've seen like forums, right, Joe, where people like argue about games. Like nowadays, people would say there are no good games out there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, the critics.
Yeah.
By the way, check your Twitch.
Hey, what's up?
For some reason, I had a connection timeout from Twitch.
Says my quality is good.
Okay, it's probably for me.
Thanks for keeping the heads up, though.
Okay. Um. No. But yeah, I mean, some people will say that like there are no good games. But those people, like in my opinion, should find something better to do.
You mean the people that just hate games?
I mean, yeah, if you're just going to hate all the games, how about they
There's
go do something they enjoy?
there's the argument that they don't. That's the reason they hate all games because it's like the Anton ego of Ratatouille. You know what I mean? Like if it, they love games so much, they want every game to be perfect. You know what I mean?
No, I understand, and everyone is welcome to have their own opinion. But when you go online and say that everyone's opinion's shit and that the game is shit, you might as well stay quiet and think that to yourself.
I get what you're saying though. Like I can't help but want to defend these people because like Joe, the other day I saw like Regia Dragon and Regia Electricity from Pokemon. They made new Reggies and they look like nothing like the other Reggies. You know?
No, like I can understand complaining. I just don't like the people that are like, "This game is shit nowadays," and will not answer anymore, or will use petty tactics like just calling it they aren't as good as the old ones and never explain why.
Okay, I guess I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and justified rage towards a game is not really something I want to be exposed of, because it's neither entertaining nor funny, not and neither is it arguable because it has no reason.
There it goes over here. I don't have to go over there. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, like about the people that really just do complain to complain for the sake of complaining.
Hmm.
And also, I'm not saying I absolutely hate the new Pokemon either when I complain about the Reggies. It's just like I look at what once was, and think like
Hmm.
I would probably like the new Reggies if they just kept up the theme of the Reggies, because I did have the initial thought like they can't do that. The old Reggies and then Regigigas, like it was completed, but like yeah, like it's already, they might as well for meta and stuff, and it's if they're not gonna make it, some like fan is going to make Fickamon of it.
Yeah.
But dang, if it isn't just the fact that they look completely different, and I guess maybe there's a lore reason for it, because basically what I was getting at is, yeah, I mean, once you hit a certain age, you think like they can't change that. Now my game is different.
Hmm. Yeah, I understand. It's I can understand the people that complain from a place of like nostalgia and like now every franchise is being changed because that's how marketing works. If you want to keep selling the game, you need to change it. Unless you're playing Skyrim, Skyrim will never change and it'll be sold in PS5 too. You'll see.
Joe, in 1,000 years, Skyrim is going to be released.
Skyrim remastered, reimagined, Redux.
Redux.
Yeah.
Like at some point, I'm almost certain that Skyrim is going to be sold on systems like with pre mods on it. Like these are the popular mods. You can toggle them on or off in this menu. You know what I mean?
I mean, not the popular ones, but PS4 already has Skyrim with mods.
Yeah, but remember when Todd was trying to charge people for mods?
No.
Oh yeah, there's a thing where people could sell their mods, and like the people would get like a profit of it, of what they were selling. So people were doing
Hmm.
shit like this mod adds an apple because like it did something like it had this big, grandiose speech where something like, "Don't you hate it that these the apple bowls simply don't have enough apples in the world?" Blah blah blah. The mod adds like one apple in the entire game, and each was charging like $50 for it to prove a point.
Hmm.
And the sad
Oh
thing is, I
well.
think people probably bought it because they liked the shit post. Excuse me.
It is. Hmm. Let's see.
Of course, I think that was maybe more of a Steam thing, but like Todd had to have approved of it. You know what I mean? Well, maybe not necessarily Todd. His company is what I mean by Todd.
Yeah, Skyrim was and is, I guess, still a very influential game.
Yo, so they say that is still a thing on Fallout as well. I thought they got rid of it because people were, you know, calling them out on their bullshit.
I mean, they are. That doesn't mean they have to stop. It's not illegal to sell something.
I, I, yeah, that's a fair point, I guess. Yeah.
That's the thing. Even if one person falls for it, after all their hard work, if he gets $50 because someone fell for it, oh well. I mean, that's the thing, David. The mod was still hard work.
I I want to argue so much with you, but yeah, you're right. I've never really modded anything. Like okay, again, let me reword. I have modded stuff, but I've never made mods.
Hmm. I mean, but then think, but also, you remember, if you're, might I remind you that he modded Skyrim in 2011. Like, it's been a big jump from technology from now and then. I'm just saying that now it's easier, even if you had to create mods.
I hate people so much. They just keep going up to my trees and cutting them down.
You should find your own trees.
They are my trees.
That's what you say. Uh, but yeah, now that we finished talking
So
about Dark Souls and Skyrim.
yeah, yeah, we can go to Jojo.
Okay, so Jojo Part 4.
Just we just play like the clip of us going da 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 together. Uh,
The Jojo Part 4, we start with the new Jojo. Do you remember? Josuke
yeah,
Iga Shikata.
crazy
Really
dying.
weird
No,
name.
sorry, what was it? Shining. Oh fuck, what's that name?
It's Shining Diamond for the localized version, but the real name is Crazy Diamond.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm trying to remember what like it's not crazy diamond. It's like shining cubic zirconium or something stupid.
Oh god, are you going there?
No, but yeah, crazy diamond. Go on.
Yeah. So to start off, the character himself, Josuke, very has very unfortunate origins, being the bastard child of Joseph. As I said, very
Yeah,
unfortunate.
yeah, and again, I'm always going to be upset that they did that because I really feel like Joseph.
You deserved better.
Yeah,
No, but I knew from like being comic relief on part 3 that they were just going to shit all over him, and they did so.
yeah. I mean, I'm even fine with what they like did with the Joseph was senile and stuff because he didn't keep up his training. Because I remember, there was like the whole fact like Joseph should have stayed younger because of the whole Hammond
Come
thing.
on, yeah,
But yeah,
face
I
off.
guess if you just don't, if you like, it's the whole thing with like Pathfinder and D&D. If you don't keep up your training, you lose your levels. So
Yeah, I think it's kind like I remember like Joseph himself was like a prodigy.
yeah, I know because I have seen that argument where Joseph should technically have didn't need to give up his training because he never had to. When he did train, he became better than like the masters in a few days.
Yeah, so like there's a couple arguments that can be done there, but there's nothing stopping from what's already been made and then turned into an anime. And also just universe reset, so it doesn't care, like doesn't matter anymore even.
All right, so someone said, it's Pedro. From what I saw, Amon, you can be 50 and look 30, but it still has a limit. Yeah, but like,
No, either set has a limit, but you have to remember Strazo
you
looked
know,
like he was 50 and he was like 90.
yeah, exactly. Or like Lisa was supposed to be like real old. Do I keep trying to shear the thing? Am I trying to shear the penguins? Whoops.
Lisa was still not that old, but she did look 30 and she was like 50 something.
I guess. Yo, was this fence door always here? I always remembered having the hop over the style.
But but yeah, like Strazo, which was like the age of his which is the age of his great grandfather,
What was
was
the
still there.
what was the
Yeah.
master from part one?
Oh, Tom Petty.
Yeah, Tom Petty. God, I can't believe I forgot Tom
Not
Petty.
not yeah,
Um,
not Tom, Ton
Tom
Petty.
Petty. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying. Uh,
I know it.
oh, damn. Is that what happened? Damn. All right. Well, at least I got experience from it.
No, but yeah, Strazo still looked fine for a 90-year-old man. Then he turned into a vampire, fucked it all up, but that's another point.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
But I was saying, like,
but yeah,
isn't Tom Petty like supposed to be like ancient?
I think Tom Petty died.
Oh, I know, but I mean before that, like he was supposed to be like he was the master that many of them had for like years and years before.
Huh? I mean, let me check, but yeah.
I mean, the great thing about Jojo is that Araki can just say, no, you're wrong, to anything anyone says.
I mean, true. Uh,
I always thought when I was little, if I got the penguins in this little nook here and try to shear them, they wouldn't have anywhere to escape. Uh, Strazo is
there is.
75 on part 2.
Oh, I thought he was older.
That's still pretty dang old.
Yeah. Also, there's no mention of Tom Petty's age.
It's like an implied thing.
Yeah. But to continue with Josuke, Josuke is not your everyday high school student. From the start of the show, he has a stand, Crazy Diamond. He has a he has a very big fixation about his pompadour, and is a mild mannered high schooler until someone talks shit about his hair. In which case, he gets enraged and will just smash someone's face in if needed.
I just wanted to mention, like, that it could have been so good if if Araki just did keep up with the whole time travel.
Time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would
Uh,
have been great.
Iraqi is always fascinated with time travel, but he either forgets of it or implements it badly most of the time.
Yeah,
So really, we lost something, David, but it could be worse.
I mean, it could always be worse, but it's like what could have been. Because I'm not against Araki being fascinated with time travel, because then you just get the implication that like S tier stands just involve time. That at some point the stand virus, as it is, just simply is like that is the pinnacle of what it can do, sort of thing. You know?
I mean, but now for what Crazy Diamond can do. Crazy Diamond, while it has less destructive powers than Star Platinum, as most of its other physical attributes, like its reach. It's slightly faster than Star Platinum, only being able to be surpassed due to Jotaro's stopping time.
Yeah. I I
Uh,
I do like characters that are like I'm the healer, but then they use their healing power to like do horrific things. I know there's a like in a comic that like a D&D comic that's like what the their major antagonist is. He has like a healing touch power, and rather like some chosen people do, but rather than use it to like fix things, he'll disfigure people with it, and then like permanently fuse them to that spot.
well, that is really messed up and kind of close of what Crazy Diamond does,
Yeah,
because his power is he can revert or restructure things after being smashed by their fists.
yeah,
So it
and
doesn't need to be smashed, he just needs to have contact with them. But his favorite way to do it to his enemies is smashing them.
yeah. Twisted
Um,
blueprints. What are evil
this not
drawings?
only
Go on.
this this can be full on just healing to with the normal state, or it can restructure someone. For example, the first episode, you just punch a man in the face and restructure his facial bones.
Well, Joe, we can really sum up the whole horror that he can do it by going, "Yo, Angelo."
Yeah, he fuses someone with rock by punching him into one. Well, that's for the only caveat of this whole power is that he can't use it on himself.
Is that
So
right? He couldn't do it on himself.
yeah, that is the problem of Crazy Diamond, and the reason he isn't basically immortal is that Crazy Diamond doesn't work on him. That's why against the first enemy stand, Aqua Necklace, that was
Right.
controlled by said Angelo.
Yeah.
Um, which is a stand that basically can hide in water, change its appearance, and it can change the appearance of the liquid and the container the liquid's in. Because Angelo transformed a simple bottle that had Aqua Necklace imprisoned into a fine bottle that looked like a fine bottle of whiskey. That's how he killed Jotaro's grandfather.
Yeah, no, not
Uh,
Jotaro's grandfather.
Sorry, Josuke's grandfather.
Yeah, yeah. See, we both do it.
Well, we all do it. They're both Japanese and they both start with Joe.
They're both Japanese. I was just gonna go with the fact that both their names are designed to be Jojo, so of course we're gonna mix up the names.
I mean, yeah, but to be honest, it's easier. Like it's a thing. I'm not going to confuse like Josuke with Joseph. It's easier.
Eh.
But yeah, that was more or less the only other power that Taku Necklace had is if he was inside someone, he could control the actions that the person could take, not to the maximum degree that other stands can, like
There was some blood
uh
bending going on.
yeah, like Irophant Green did it better, but only did it once. Same with Aqua Necklace because he was only alive for 2 episodes.
Okay, so Pedro's saying if Crazy Diamond worked on himself, he would only die if he got one shot. Let's recall like if Joe is playing a cleric in the solo campaign, imagine Joe had unlimited healing. You could there's like the fact that if something's hitting him for more than he can heal, he will lose the race. You know what I mean? The same way I
Mhm.
would say we would go for Josuke because like if he needs to touch himself, he needs to like it takes time to heal even though it's pretty fast. So like
Also,
if like who would win if Jotaro was doing his little aura thing versus someone that Josuke is trying to keep alive? Like, do you think that person like there's going to be a limit? You know what I mean? Like
mhm.
Star Platinum is faster, is what I'm saying.
Star Platinum is technically not faster.
Yeah, Star Platinum's faster.
No, he's more powerful and can stop time, but on pure speed, he is not faster. That was proven in straight up in the first episode.
Yeah, but once you stop time, your speed is infinite. That's taught to you by part five. So
But part
yeah, go on.
6 though.
Part six. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, part 5 is the gangsters.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That shows you how much I like part five.
We'll get there.
Yeah,
Now,
we never saw how
after
fast he can heal since the time in the anime is kind of loose. I mean, the same for the manga. Like it's more for the entertainment. Like the whole people that do the whole tier list thing are stupid.
also making this like using these as reference doesn't like change anything because in the what if scenarios, we mustn't forget that JoJo is a show that also likes their Shyamalan twists a little bit too much.
Yeah,
So any skill might evolve at any point.
Starfinger.
So
God, never forget
yeah,
Starfinger. Um,
yeah. So what if scenarios are kind of canceled by that kind of logic?
but even if you ignore that, you just take what you see and then you rank them. Like there are stands that are obviously better than one another, but will lose to. It's just a big rock paper scissors game.
We'll eventually talk about Survivor.
Jeez.
But now after basically he put Angelo in something a bit worse than a coma. Um, we talk about the arrow that we see in part 3, and we talk about that it is the thing that can awaken stands. It chooses strong hosts and awakens stand within them, and those who do not just die. So that's why we meet the Nijimura brothers. First, we meet the younger brother Okuyasu. He also becomes one of the main characters with his stand, the hand.
The hand.
The hand is an infinitely powerful stand that is wasted on someone with true brain cells like Okuyasu. The
Okay.
hand as
Okuyasu's
the
a good
other.
boy.
I mean, he is a good boy, but we have to forget, like, we can't forget that Okuyasu is literally the other side of the time that is space. The hand has the ability to scrape space itself, and this ability works in such a weird way that this can be erasing space between him and something itself, or erasing a letter. And by erasing that letter, instead of nothing being there, literally the other letters just scooch themselves together. So it's not, it's a bit more complicated than it just erases things. It literally takes things out of this dimension, I'll say. Of course, this example with the letter was only used once to demonstrate his stance capability, but the basics is that he can scrape space itself, which shouldn't be underestimated, I guess. If only he had more uses during the series, I might be more impressed.
I mean, part of the idea is like Araki has said in the past how like certain things can't be given to people because otherwise they always win. Like you have this thing given to. Huh, I didn't know they were worth that much.
Okay, this thing given to
These are that's really nice. Sorry. You can't have these like powerful abilities given to like
smart.
smart characters because then they'll always win. Like he said, the reason he didn't make Whole Horse a good guy was because he like apparently Araki just said like even though it was never mentioned otherwise that he can fire an infinite amount of bullets and he has full control over the bullets rather than just saying something like you know he can only fire I don't know let's say five and he can only you know what I mean um,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the whole reason why Sex Pistols was a thing. Is he made that and gave it limitations, even though like he could have just given whole horses limitations. I really am disappointed we never got the whole horse turned good thing.
Like, I understand, but for example, the hand is very much a more controlled version of what Cream could do. Cream was a stand from part three that
Yeah,
just
no, I now
it,
that you say that, you're totally right.
yeah, like it's the thing with Cream is he couldn't aim. His power was very dangerous for everyone around him, so he could never be a team player. Okuyasu has a thing where his stand still exists, but it only utilizes the end to scrape space. It's a good stand used by a dumb character, which in the end is what we need to have some balance, really.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, for the most part, it is interesting, quote unquote, that you know there are stupid people, and like Okuyasu is ultimately like a good-hearted lad. So just like it helps give away why he was like an evil dude at the beginning is simply because not that just what he was trying to do was good, but rather he followed his brother and he was stupid as dirt. So you know you can forgive him for
Yeah.
being evil.
Yeah, he also looked evil, so doesn't help.
Let's be real though, Joe. Like anyone who has like a shirt like that just says like, what was it? Does it say billions or millions on it?
I don't know, but I know there's like $2 signs.
Yeah, but like anyone walking down the street like that, you wouldn't assume that they're like okay in that.
Oh, time to talk about the other Ninjamura brother,
Yeah.
Keicho,
Okay,
which is
his stand is fucking awesome.
yes, Keicho is his older brother. He is much smarter, and he has a stand called the Bad Company, which is a bunch of like tiny little toy soldiers, those lookalikes that have real weapons, including tanks, helicopters, and like parachutes, repels, everything. They're fully equipped. Now, as
The
Liv
whole
and
time
I
you're
have
talking, I'm just
discussed,
thinking bad company. You mean worse company? Sorry.
yes, the localized
Oh yeah,
version.
Pedro said it too. Oh no, I'm as bad as him.
um,
But yeah,
but
little
yeah,
tanks like
we
anything that's designed to be a little like military action figure, he can control.
actually that is incorrect.
No,
No, all of the soldiers that are his stands. He can't control objects. It just has all of these soldiers.
I thought he was capable of carving them or something, and he made them.
No, it's not a control stand. It's a hive stand.
Damn, man, my memory from reading Part 4 back during the age of Duong.
Yeah. Well, what we have discussed too is that most people with hive stands are people with severe trauma. Like their mind is twisted in some ways that are different from the others. But when we started discussing that, we also discussed that that's kind of every character, so it became a bit irrelevant. That being said,
Yeah.
Bad Company is a fun stand that we got to see for a whole 2 episodes.
I mean, yeah, I especially like that it showcased Crazy Diamond being like a protag and like using his ability to like heal a missile back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, basically the whole show Crazy Diamond does things like sending things back with his power,
Yeah,
remaking
yeah.
things to be more useful to him.
But
That
you
is
know, the
most of his
for
power.
for that to be the first time we see it is what I'm saying is it's good.
Yeah, it is an interesting use. Well, turns out they were using the arrow to find someone with a stand capable of healing his father, who was one of Dio's pawns. Yes, Dio again.
Always Dio.
Uh, yeah, one of Dio's pawns, and one the thing that was supposed like that was connected to his brain was supposed to kill him failed. It just mutated him into a strange creature that is immortal, but also um with an IQ lower than Okuyasu's. Let's put it like that.
I don't know if that last part's debatable, but yeah,
They can't talk, so I'll say it is.
yeah. But it'll. All right, go on. I I'll go. I'm just wanting to be mean to Okiyasu because he deserves it. Uh,
Now the next one that it's shown, it's the lock.
I forgot all about that.
The lock is used by a character that really doesn't matter that much, Tamami Kobayashi, which is the first antagonist to Koichi, the second main character for Part 4, and not a Jojo.
Yeah, I mean, Koichi is actually. I'm honestly wish there was more like JoJo books about like non JoJo characters, just people.
Hmm. Koichi himself is a very short high school student that
He's not though.
follows.
He's
Hmm?
actually fairly tall. Rocky draws him that because that's how he feels.
Yeah, like I fully understand because for the character that I spoke, Tamami Kobayashi,
Yeah,
before like in the manga, before being defeated by Koichi, Tamami Kobayashi looks like a 6 feet fit dude. After being defeated by Koichi, he looks like a 3 foot tall dwarf with scangly arms. It's a very fun visual to see it change in the manga.
the same thing happens with whatever the I am wood retard.
Yeah, it's the one that controls surface, but we'll get there.
Yeah,
We're almost.
just saying it's a common thing for Araki.
Yeah, especially in part 4. Now, the lock is a very simple stand. If someone feels bad by something they did to the user, the lock will attach themselves to them and will start weighing heavier and heavier the worse they feel until they commit suicide. He used this to basically put it in Koichi and then put it in his mother and sister, and by abusing that, unlocked Koichi's potential after being hit by the arrows by the Nijimura brothers, Keicho, Keicho more like, but yeah, and Awakened Echoes. Echoes is a stance that evolves over the show as Koinki himself evolves. But Act 1 as a single functionality, which is not very useful. Act 1 can reverberate sound by hitting something and just creating a sound. The reason this was able to defeat Tamami was that he basically made enough sounds inside of his body that he felt himself vibrate to almost unconsciousness and beg to forgiveness to for that to stop.
Yeah,
Huh?
it's really something else.
I mean, yes, because the log didn't work with Koichi because of the awful thing he was doing. Koichi didn't feel guilty about this at all. So that's the way to see it.
Yeah, it's one of those like, I guess the word would be like, I'm trying to think of a good way to explain it. It's one of those like I was gonna say metaphysical, but it's they're all metaphysical really.
Mm,
Um, it's one of those stands where it's like a brain teaser, but not really. It's more of like a philosophical thing, is what I should say.
mm-hmm. Well, now it's time for us to meet Surface. Surface is also very much one-off stand from Toshikazu Azamada. His stand isn't really that much. He basically can become anyone, with the only difference from it being that he has like a screw in his head. And but as a difference from almost all other stands, it can be seen, heard, and felt by normal people. I mean, felt, I think it's everyone, but seen and heard is a thing specifically for Surface. It's used mostly to try and kill Jotaro by luring him in, pretending to be Josuke. This is foiled when Josuke and the others finally foil him, especially since he was discrediting Josuke in any other way he could, because he just didn't straight up like him. He's a very forgettable villain of Part 4.
Hell, he even shows up again. Like not as a villain, I guess, but like he still shows up again.
Oh, he shows up as like very much now that this power is known. If something like this happens again, like people know who it is, so most of the power is gone at that point.
He's also the person that explains the whole stand user thing to them.
Yes, because he is the first person that was sent by Red Hot Chili Pepper. Red Hot Chili Pepper is one of the most powerful stands in Part 4, being capable of absorbing and using electricity from any source. Now, while its weakness is being running out of power in a city that is quite hard to do. So it is power of a long distance stand with enough power and speed to just mostly kill anyone if the user so wishes. Fortunately, the user is stupid. That's that's another thing. The user of Raw Chili Pepper, other than use minions, is fairly dumb himself. He's just a rock star that doesn't want to give up his power and knows that Jotaro and by association Josuke and the gang will try to stop him. What do you think of my claim calling him stupid?
I mean, a lot of the villains in Part 4 are like they're mostly just there to fill in the time until like Kira is revealed. Like
Yeah.
if Kira wasn't there, like all this stuff would still be happening. It's just that their town has like an unnatural amount of stand users, or it's supposed to show that something like stand users are everywhere, and like because only stand users can see stands, like people just like it explains for like when you go down to New York and the bus station has like or the subway has like all these weirdos in it, like they're stand users, you fucking tool. You're they might seem weird to you, but they're just that stylish.
Yeah. I mean, for his credit, the only reason he was caught was because he was baited with the arrival of Joseph. Um, but with that being said, Red Hot Chili Pepper, I do not remember how the user Akira Toyoshi discovered that this stuff can actually take spirit photos with Hermit Purple. So he was going to be discovered sooner or later, and its long distance stand would lose most of its power if he himself was in the fray.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff that was going to be like, no, we're going to explain this, and they just never do, so it's just left up to interpretation about why they know stuff.
It is known that the Red Hot Chili Pepper is a part of Akira Toyoshi's personality, but it basically can focus himself into the stand, or at least that's how the stand acts.
We're
S
talking about we're talking about Sparky Boy, right?
yeah, and the thing is, Sparky Boy can hide himself in phones. So I think that's how he discovered because he was spying on Jotaro on his phone on the
Hmm.
hotel.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, okay.
That's what I remember, at least.
Yeah, it's true. I haven't read this in a long time.
Now we go to Love's Deluxe.
Which one's
Um,
that? Is that the hair?
yeah, girl falls in love with Koichi. Yukaku Yamagishi falls in love with Koichi and is what we call here in the anime world a yandere. So
It's
Koichi
it's
at
still
first,
so weird to me that they decided to just like let Koichi fall in love with her.
yeah. While her love is messed up and her power basically serves to is destined to control her lover, which is literally just controlling your own hair. It's just uh, hair is strong, people.
Well, she's based after that. I want to say Yuki Ono, but that's probably super wrong. I think Yuki Ono is a snow woman, actually. She's based after that Oni. That's the one that has like wild hair that like lashes out and like cuts people.
uh, the Ayakashi, I think.
Yeah, it's a word. I'm sure.
Ayakashi. uh, but yeah, saying she can control her own hair and make it grow and contort and just asphyxiate people if needed. But she basically kidnaps Koichi and will because she fell in love with him, she will make him the perfect man for her. Until Koichi decides to revolt and try to escape the house with his newfound power of Echoes Part 2.
Oh yeah, before it
Echoes,
was just a fucking egg.
yeah, first part was fucking egg, then it became part 1, and then part 1 evolved to part 2. Part 2 has a much more interesting power where Koichi could write onomatopoeias. Oh, that's a word.
Yeah.
Basically, he can write a sounds, and the sound itself would become
Oh
reality.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it
Chat's saying it's Act Two, not Part Two.
yeah, act. You also wrote at. So shit
Yeah,
up.
yeah, fine. Yeah, let's make fun of Pedro.
Yeah, like I know. I'm sorry, Pedro. But yes, Act Two controls onomatopoeias in the sense that if he writes the words, if he can put the word sizzle on something, it will start sizzling.
And again, it's a way more interesting power than the "Let's kill Doho" thing that it became.
Yeah, we'll get there. It's not that interesting, but I actually, since Koichi's character wasn't after evolving to the next part, didn't evolve very much story. We don't know if he can revert into old parts, which would be an interesting way to do it.
Does Tusk do that?
Tusk does not do that
Yeah, that's what I'm
because
saying.
Tusk.
Because he's
No,
also the only other axe stand that I can remember right now. Probably the
I
only
mean,
one too. And
Yeah, but also Tusk is like stronger in each one and still does the same thing, so it doesn't matter.
okay, that's a fair point. I was just thinking because if Tusk doesn't evolve, I'm thinking evolving stands are probably just that. Like they don't go back. They ain't like they're Pokemon, not Digimon.
Well, we don't know because no more thing is soon to reach you, but eventually we'll get for three.
You hear that,
Next
Iraqi?
is
Put a new evolving stand in part. What is he in 8?
yeah, Major Jolien currently.
Yeah.
So Pearl Jam.
I like it as a person. As a viewer, it's kind of a whole. It's not a bad episode because it's a good world building thing for stands. A
Hmm.
lot of part four again is just really like people are just doing fun things, haha. But damn, dude, if like stands, it's I don't know, like there could have been a lot of a better way to have a whole. I guess the word I'm looking for is like world building with stands
Hmm.
because.
Uh,
Hmm?
I was going to like first explain a bit of Pearl Jam.
Okay, go ahead.
So Pearl Jam is used by Tonio Trussardi, which is an Italian character that opened a restaurant in Morio, and Josuke. Josuke and
Okiyasu.
Ieyasu go to the restaurant and they feel a bit observed after like eating the food. Okuyasu seems to change by stripping all of his skin off.
Yeah, it's
After after the shock and horror of Josuke, he seems that Okuyasu just has now baby smooth skin.
yeah. I guess a better way to explain it is it seems like he's getting like something poisoned him and it's like killing him, but it's just like bad stuff leaving his body rather,
Yeah.
and he becomes better for it. And the whole thing is like, is this an enemy stand user? Well, it actually is a stand user, but the stand's power is just that it's you cook it, you chop up the stand itself and put it in food, and it makes you better, whatever like ailments you have going with you.
Hmm.
And
Well,
I mean, like it's a cool stand. It fits his character, and it shows that there are people who just have stands and they're not evil, and that they just try and live life and everything while being good people to the world. And it's a good world building thing, like I was saying. But like a whole episode dedicated to it, and like I mean, the whole series, like the first half of it, is just world building, and it's just kind of like Jojo, like it's like the Jojo part to like what a
it, it has 39 episodes at that time.
yeah, they had time, but what I'm saying is like that was the thing with the chapters too. Like it was the first JoJo that actually were like nothing was really happening for the first half, so it was just kind of like chilling in this guy's life and showing things. So it's
Y-
good like lore building for like stands to show that yeah, there are plenty of stand users that are just like Antonio, but we don't really focus on them as characters because that's the extent of what they do in life.
Because in part four, Tonio is the first stand user that we meet that was not given the power by the arrow, but just an Ender stand user that just walks around the world doing his own thing. His
Well, I mean
stand is,
that's not true. I mean, was Josuke given his power through the arrow?
but D is from the bloodline because of Dio. That
Well,
is
yeah,
different.
I know, but so was what's the black guy's name? Uh,
No, I understand, but I said part four.
yeah, okay, okay, but that's what I'm saying is it wasn't given by the arrow. Like, okay, I know what you're saying. I mean, was the hair lady given by the arrow? I mean, it's
Yes,
implied, but it's never stated.
yeah, it is never stated, but very few, very few stand users are not given powers by the arrow or something of the sort. Most of them were given by the arrow, and Tonio is just something else because he gained his stand just for his own ability and wanting of cooking. It's just to show that stands like represent themselves by what people like. Natural stands will represent themselves like this. Pearl Jam is a good example of that.
Hmm.
Like, is wanting to cook delicious meals that are good for you, made a stand that literally makes meals that heal people in ways that food otherwise cannot do. by immediately exfoliating your skin, changing out your teeth, stuff of the sort.
Yeah, the teeth thing was weird.
The whole thing was weird, but at the end they ended up in peaceful relations, even though Tonio doesn't like Josuke because Josuke thought he was an evil guy, and so basically like touched his kitchen without cleaning his hands.
Yeah, okay,
So
is that what you're going with? I thought you were going with he doesn't like him because ultimately, like, he still refused to really eat any of the food.
oh no, he ate there later. Like they
Does
go to
he?
Tonio. Yeah, they go there constantly. The point is, he entered the kitchen without washing his hands. Antonio got mad. So,
God, I've got the memory of a gnat.
well, next is an episode with Joseph and their very strenuous relation with Josuke and the Ashtung baby. Well, while trying to do anything that can be recognized as father-son bonding with a man that is senile, they find the baby as invisible. It can make things around it invisible.
Yeah,
So since they couldn't find the mother, eventually Joseph Joestar at the ripe age of 80 something years decided to adopt her, and that was the birth of Shizuka Joestar, the invisible baby and the user of Ashtung baby. Never seen again. No
yeah,
pun intended.
it would have been. I would have liked to have seen a JoJo part that just focused on like it's a good way to introduce a JoJo that isn't him cheating on his wife, and she could have been an interesting JoJo character, you know.
Oh yeah, but no pun intended. Never seen again.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I am disappointed that Shizuki Jojo, Jozar. I mean, I guess she's not a JoJo, but still, it would have been cool to have seen like she grows up to be a young woman or whatever, and she uses her stealth powers to fight people like they like what they do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, there's all sorts of cool things you can do. Like she can turn other things invisible, so that's pretty much like a win at that point, where you can just have her chuck like invisible things at people, you know.
Yep. Well, now it's we got to one of the few, one of like the five animal stand users, which is which uses a stand the rat, which is used by a rat.
Oh, that, yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
It's a
no, correct
stand.
yourself. It's not a rat.
Let's see who's. Is it not the rat?
No, no, no. There's multiple.
Oh wait, just a second. There's two of them.
Well, there was more, but they died.
No, yes, but the thing is, it was the arrow stand went through two of them, and those two got the power of the rat.
Oh, and
There were,
the other corpses are just corpses.
yeah, the other rats were there, but they weren't stand users. They're
Mm.
more of a version, so they couldn't find the stand user so easily. So basically, rat is a stand with a very it's turret basically that turns very quickly and shoots a laser. This laser is capable of melting any flash it comes into contact with, which Star Platinum and Jotaro have and Josuke and Crazy Diamond have a much tenser fight than it should have been.
I kind of like the fact that the fight was tenser than it should have been. I guess is the way you worded it, because like it's the fact that I guess how to word this again. I'm not trying to be like stupid when I say things. It's the fact that they weren't expecting it to be a rat, and they weren't expecting it to be two. So just the fact that it was able to hurt them in that way, you know what I mean?
Hmm. Now we go to the second I stand of the list, Harvest. Harvest
What was that?
is
What was that guy's
Har-
name?
Shigekyo Yangu, but
Yeah,
everyone called him
Shigeke.
Shige. Everyone called him Shige.
Yeah, Shigeke,
Uh,
whatever.
yeah. Shige was just a unpopular student with a lot of money, and Okuyasu and Josuke decided to, after learning of how he gets his money, which is stand harvest, which is just a lot of little stands that can collect things and either store them inside themselves in the case of liquids, as we are seeing. They can gather things. So Shige, what he does is he literally sends them to collect little coins that are hidden. So he amasses a grand fortune. But since it was Josuke's idea, they say that they should take a cut. Shige disagrees, and eventually, when Josuke forgives him purely so that he can make a scheme of just getting would seem like to be scratch tickets to gain money, Shige gets even more greedy and decides not to share, even though the last plan was just Josuke gaining a couple, like a couple tens of thousand yen. I
Yeah,
don't remember the exact amount. I just remember it was a lot for high schoolers, and that Shige wanted to keep everything. And so he basically came to blows with Tokuyasu and Josuke. And when I say came to blows, is he ran away and used harvest in all kinds of fashions to either slow them down, try to kill them via alcohol poisoning, or anything in between.
I mean, I want to say it's like understandable why he did that, not in the sense that we should be like, oh, I do that too, but like, he clearly had mental problems.
Yes, that's why we say people with hive stands are not always like all stand users are kind of messed up, but Shige's another breed.
Well, what I've always found is that the Hive stand users do have mental issues, and it's like the what's like Bad Company's stand user was obsessive compulsive to like a crazy degree. Shigeke had I don't want to say like he was like he wasn't up to speed with everyone else mentally. Um, you know what I mean? What's
Yeah.
another? What's a, give me another hive? There's like six of them in this show.
Well, there's the other one that's just like cowboys. They're like 12 cowboys.
That's is that a hive stand? I thought that was a shared stand.
Maybe. I don't know. They don't have faces.
Because I thought those were like
Uh,
actually people and they shared a single stand amongst them.
well, yeah. I don't remember now, but I also have to go in a bit. So let's
Yeah,
go
let's
to
keep
the
going. Let's keep going.
last stand before we get to the part where Killer Queen and like before I reveal Killer Queen and Heaven's Door, which we'll do next time.
Yeah,
So the last stand before we meet those two characters is Cinderella.
that's the
Cin-
face swapper.
yes, Cinderella is used by Ayatsuji, cos someone that uses a cosmetician that works in Morio. The she has exactly two abilities. One is she can do perfect plastic surgery with any kind of look that she has seen.
Is that a different ability than her other thing? I just thought that was a different application of her base ability.
No, she has one that she can produce a lipstick, and this lipstick, if you are patient enough, it will make you unresistible to the person you love. No, it makes your luck in love augment if you put it every day. But if you fail while putting it, your appearance will start to degrade until you become ugly and deformed.
So is that just a normal side effect, or is she just fucked in doing that? You know what I mean?
No,
'Cause-
that is a normal like that is a side effect of her stand because it seems she, from what I understand, the user believes that to stay beautiful is not only a challenge but something you should like, you have to work hard for. So she
that's
give
so silly though. Your interpretation of that, because she's a plastic sturgeon. You don't work hard for that.
like, I understand that, but the gift that she gives, that gives luck to people, she's also not okay. Our profession itself is not plastic surgeon. The stand itself can do that. She's just,
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
yeah,
But she uses
but
it for that too, though.
she can use it for that. She also doesn't use it. She can, but the second effect is completely different. It's called luck of love, and it's literally, if you put this lipstick every day or like 3 times every day, I don't remember how many times per day it was. You must remember to put it every day. If you keep doing it, your luck and love will increase. This leads to Yukaku, the one that was in love with Koichi, just meets Koichi a lot more times on her strolls,
Mm-hmm.
just has him be more assertive towards her, things of the sort. But she starts forgetting to use the lipstick, and basically the Ukaku or whatever her name was starts, her appearance starts, she starts getting white hair, she starts looking paler, and I don't remember. I know there was a way to cure it. I am now trying to remember how it was cured.
There was that whole thing where there was like bits floating around, and like Koichi had to choose like the one that was hers,
Oh
and then she
yes,
was like, "He'll
basically,
never do it," and then he picked him out, and she's like, "Oh, he really does love her. No one's ever done this before," and I'm sitting here going, "What the fuck is her deal?"
yes, Aya Tsuji herself is quite eccentric, like all natural stand users, because she's a second natural stand user, and
Is
the
she?
most,
I like it's again. Is it explained that she is, or does it just not explain that she was shot by the arrow?
well, it doesn't explain that she's shot by the arrow, but I assume so because the other stands that acts like hers is Pearl Jam, and Pearl Jam sees that Tonio truly is a natural stand user. It seems that stands that are born from like normal people are mostly associated to things they do daily
Well, I mean,
instead of
do we want to talk
instead.
about the way people get stands naturally?
I mean, it depends because it differs for some people. Some people literally just one day after owning their own craft will suddenly pop a stand.
Well, no, but
Others,
the whole stand is a virus thing.
oh, I don't remember that interpretation. What was it?
Yeah, it's explained that this the stand virus, as it's called, it comes from a meteorite where like if people catch it, if they survive the virus, they generate a stand as like an immunity from surviving the virus. Otherwise, they die. The whole stand arrows are made out of that meteorite. It's the carved piece of the meteorite carved into the stand arrow.
Oh, yeah, I remember now.
And
Yeah, but
the first stand user, it showed like some guy dying in a tent, but then he survived, and then lightning struck him, and he could fire lightning or something, and that was the first stand user. And I'd really like Araki to have a thing about that. You know, people just getting powers, no explanation, and then they're like, "All right, let's be supervillains." You know what I mean?
yeah, but it seems like it's not completely explained, but it seems that some people can just gain them.
Well, yeah, I
Um,
think it's because it's like, is the stand airborne or something? And then that's like, let's. I hope I'm not. I think you skipped him already. Earth, Wind, and Fire.
No, Earth, Wind, and Fire isn't like. I've been doing this more or less in the order of the list I had in front of me.
Okay, that's because so Earth, Wind, and Fire shows up before Cinderella. I'm fairly certain, and it's not explained if he's a stand user or what he really says is true. He's an alien because with the fact that the stand is actually from like outer space. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yep.
Uh, don't forget that the.
Actually, by the way, it does not.
Hmm?
Uh, it does
Are you
not.
talking to chat here, Joe?
No, no, no. You.
Oh,
Cinderella appears in episode 20, and Earth, Wind, and Fire appears in episode 27.
damn! Really? That late?
No, yeah, because it's after sheer heart attack and Adam Hardfather. It's after Kira comes on,
Oh, okay. Well,
where
chat says they
basically
had a diary with all arrow targets, so if not said otherwise, they are natural. Kira was not a natural, but after a while, we were told that he got shot by his father.
hmm after he showed himself. But yeah,
Like
basically,
that's the other
David, the
thing. Is
reason,
his father dead and an actual ghost, or is that just his stand power? You know, there's some things that just aren't explained.
yeah, the thing, David, is, for example, the reason I stopped here at Cinderella is because Cinderella is the cutoff point before they introduced Kira as the main villain.
Okay, but go on. Or did you want to talk about Kira next time? Is what you're saying?
I want to talk about Kira next time because I have to go in a second to college. So,
Yeah. All right. Well, when we get back in about how long, Joe? Roughly. You don't have to give me an exact number.
oh, probably not today.
Oh, not today. All right. When we come back tomorrow,
I
we'll.
mean,
You know what I'm
I mean,
saying, Joe.
yeah, I'll arrive home like 11 at night. So yeah, not
It's
today.
it's all good, Joe. When we come back, we'll talk about Kira. But until next time.